This happened to me a few weeks ago, and while it wasn't anything obviously supernatural, it was weird enough to shake me up a bit. I live in a quiet suburb about 20 minutes outside of Madison, Wisconsin. There's a small park I cut through when I walk home from the bus stop after late shifts. It's not huge, mostly a big field with a few benches and some older oak trees lining the path. Usually totally empty by the time I'm walking through, around 11:30 or midnight. I've done this walk hundreds of times, never had a problem, never felt unsafe. That night was clear, kind of cold, probably high 40s, no wind. I wasn't wearing headphones, which is unusual for me, so I was just listening to the gravel crunch under my boots and the occasional car in the distance. Anyway, I was about halfway through the park, passing under one of the bigger oak trees, when I got this weird sensation, like I was being watched. I know how cliche that sounds, but it was really specific, like something above me. I slowed down and glanced up, expecting maybe an owl or raccoon or something. But there was something else. It was perched way up in the crook of the tree, about 15 feet off the ground. I could only see the outline at first, dark against the sky, but it was big, bigger than a raccoon or a cat, too big to be a bird. My first thought was maybe a big dog or even a coyote had gotten stuck up there somehow, but that didn't make sense either. It was crouched in a way that reminded me of a person, like knees tucked up, arms hanging down loosely, except it wasn't shaped quite right, too lanky. Its limbs looked too tall, and it was perfectly still. I just froze. I was maybe 10 feet from the base of the tree, and I suddenly had this strong urge not to get any closer. My body wasn't panicking, but something deep in me said, "Don't walk under that thing." I took a step back, and that's when it moved. Not fast, just slightly, its head tilted. I couldn't see eyes or anything, but I knew it was looking at me. The movement was silent, controlled, like it was waiting to see what I'd do. I backed up slowly until I was off the path, and then I just skirted the tree in a wide arc. I never turned my back to it. As soon as I was maybe 30 or 40 feet away, I glanced back, and it was gone. I didn't hear it jump, or climb, or fly off, nothing. Just gone. I haven't walked through the park at night since. I take the long way home now, stick to the sidewalks under the streetlights. I've gone through during the day and looked at that tree. It looks totally normal. No nests, no damage, no branches broken. I haven't told anyone in real life because I honestly don't know what I saw. It couldn't have been an animal. I want to believe it was an animal, but I've never seen one sit that still and move like that. Anyway, thanks for listening. I don't know what it was, but I know what I felt, and it wasn't normal.
This happened to me in the fall of 2019, back when I was in college in upstate New York. I've never talked about it publicly until now, and I'm still not sure what to call it. I've heard similar stories here, and thought maybe mine fits. It was a Friday night in late October. Classes were done for the week, and most of the dorms were already throwing parties. That wasn't really my thing, so I went for a walk. I used to do that a lot. Plug in some earbuds, find a quiet trail, and just keep walking until the stress worked itself out. There's this forest trail that runs behind the school. Not deep wilderness, but enough trees that once you're out of sight of the road, you don't really hear much. No streetlights past the entrance, just gravel, woods, and the occasional old power line cut. I'd walked maybe 20 minutes in, just far enough to be in that pocket of silence. The only sound was the leaves underfoot, and the occasional creak of a branch overhead. It was just starting to get properly cold at night. I remember my breath showing up in front of me. I was halfway through a podcast when something caught my eye in the sky. It was red, round. At first, I thought maybe it was a planet. Mars, maybe. But it was too low, and it glowed. Not a reflection, not flickering like a plane, just this steady, deep red light. It looked like a ball of coal, not burning, just radiating. And it wasn't moving. I stood there for maybe 30 seconds just looking at it. I took my earbuds out and tried to figure out what I was seeing. There was no sound, no wind, no insects. The woods had gone totally still. Then the ball moved. Not fast, not jerky, just this smooth glide across the sky. It went from one side of the power line gap to the other in maybe 10 seconds. Then it stopped again. I thought maybe it was a drone, but there were no flashing lights, no noise, and it didn't behave like any drone I'd seen. It hovered again for a while, probably a full minute, and then shifted again, but this time it moved toward me. Not directly, just closer. It stopped maybe 50 feet above where I stood, just hanging there like it was watching. That was when I noticed how strange the air felt. It was heavy, like the way the sky feels before a storm, but there weren't any clouds. I realized my ears felt pressurized, like I'd gone up a mountain too fast. My phone screen glitched a little, just flickered for a second, and then froze. The podcast cut out completely. I started to back away, slow at first. The red ball didn't move right away. Then it did. It kept pace with me. I walked faster. It followed. It wasn't right above me, but it adjusted its position every time I changed direction. It never got closer than maybe 30 feet up, but it never left. I started to panic. I wasn't far from the trailhead, but I was deep enough in that there weren't any lights nearby. I didn't want to run, not in the dark, but I didn't know what else to do. Then, something else happened. Out of nowhere, and I mean nowhere, this silver sphere appeared. It wasn't there 1 second, and then it was. Just above and behind the red ball, it was perfectly smooth, metallic, and maybe twice the size. It didn't make a sound. It didn't descend. It was just there. Then, without warning, the silver sphere opened. It didn't crack or split. It just kind of peeled, like an iris or camera lens. It opened up, sucked the red ball inside, and closed again. It all happened in maybe 3 seconds. After that, the silver sphere hovered for a moment, then took off straight into the sky. No trail, no fire, no noise. Just gone. Faster than anything I've ever seen. When it left, the pressure in the air vanished. The woods came back to life. Wind in the trees. Distant sound of traffic. My phone flickered back on. The podcast resumed like nothing happened. I didn't move for a long time. Just stood there on the trail, looking up at the empty sky. Eventually, I walked back. I didn't see anything else that night. I haven't seen anything like it since. I've gone over this 100 times in my head. I've read about ball lightning, drones, satellites, even some weird weather phenomena. None of it fits. There was no storm, no clouds, no explanation. I've told one person about this, my cousin, and he asked me if I thought it was aliens. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but I know it happened, and it felt like something was watching me, not in a threatening way, just observing, until the silver one showed up. I still go for walks. I don't avoid the woods, but I haven't been on that trail after dark since. I'm not looking for answers. I just wanted to get this out. If anyone's seen anything like it, red ball, silver sphere, I'd be curious. But if not, that's okay too. Some things just happen, I guess.